Just a reminder to vote in this week's Locals poll, where you decide what deck I take to Locals every single week. Without any further ado, I hope you enjoyed the video. What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel, and for today we have the deck profile for the deck we took to Locals this past week, being Gaia the Fierce Knight, or just Gaia for short. We ended up not having a tournament due to low attendance. We mainly just did a bunch of trades for the most part, opening some packs and stuff, and then I did get one game in, though, against a Synchron Stardust deck, and we ended up winning, so we ended up going undefeated at Locals with this time. So here's a cut to what it looks like on paper, then we'll get to the card by card. Alright, so starting with the monsters, running 2 copies of Soldier Gaia the Fierce Knight. So this guy, as a quick effect, he lets you tribute a dragon fusion that you control in order to special summon him from your hand. And then when he's special summoned, you can target an attack position monster on either field and change it to the defense position. And then you can tribute him in order to add a level 7 warrior monster from your deck to your hand. That's not another copy of him. So this can allow you to tribute your fusion monster to finish an OTK, or in order to make a, like, say, a targeting effect fizzle or something like that. And with its tribute to search effect, the main one you would be searching would most likely be one of our 3 copies of Gaia the Magical Knight. So it does have a continuous effect that says this card is also always treated as a Gaia the Fierce Knight card. That will come up later. And so if you control no monsters, or if your opponent has a monster with more than 2300 attack, you can normal summon it without tributing. And then when it's normal or specialed, you can special summon a level 5 dragon monster from hand or grave in defense. So that helps set up your fusion plays, of course. Next is 3 copies of Lord Gaia the Fierce Knight. So this one, it's basically a Cyber Dragon for the deck, so it's just an extra body you can beam out onto the field, because this is a going second deck. So this is just another body you can use to try to push for damage. And then if your opponent summons something with higher attack while this card is on the field, you can have it gain 700, so it goes up to 3k. So not bad for a level 7 that you can literally special summon from your hand for free. Next, running 3 copies of our Curse of Dragon Retrain. I'm not going to say the full English name, because I think the full English name is kind of dumb. I liked the OCG name better. But anyways, when it's normal or special, you can add a spell or trap from your deck to your hand that has Gaia the Dragon Champion in its card text. And then if it's sent to the grave, you can target a Gaia the Dragon Champion that you control, and then negate the effects of all face-up monsters your opponent controls with attack less than or equal to that monster's. So basically the idea is you summon one of your giant fusion monsters, then this just blanket negates all your opponent's monsters. And then we're also running 2 copies, they stuck together. Running 2 copies of Curse of Dragonfire. This is just another way to, in order to fusion summon. It also does have a pretty cool effect where it can pop a field spell when it's special summoned. So that's really nice too. With the Gaia the Magical Knight, if you're not able to get to this one, this is another option. So it helps pick apart your opponent's board a little bit, and you can also fuse with it. And it's also just another dragon target. Next, running 3 copies of Gaia the Fierce Knight Origin. So I originally actually just had one of this, because that's all I pulled. But then I got this one, or I traded one guy for this one, because this is the only one he had. And then I found this one with another guy. So I traded for both of them, just so I could have all 3 for the deck. Because I did have a different Gaia the Fierce Knight monster, but I'm not running that one anymore, because the other 2 copies were replacing it. I do want to eventually upgrade this one to the Super, but that'll be for another day. Basically, this one is kind of like a free body in a way. You can send a level 5 or higher monster from your hand to the grave to special summon it. That does start a chain. And then it can be treated as 2 tributes for the tribute set of a warrior monster. So So, like, let's just say, and the reason that's relevant is, like, let's just say your opponent doesn't really brick, or he doesn't really open that well. He kind of bricks, and he ends on, like, say, a monster with 2,400, or no, 2,200 attack. Okay, some of my buddies and I have been talking about Edison recently, so we'll just say he ends on a magical android, right? So it's like, oh, okay, it's not more than 2,300, so we'll special this and then tribute this for the magical knight. So it's just a way, but it's also just another body that you can use for fusion summons. And then it does have a grave effect, where during the battle phase, you can banish this card from your grave, target a monster on the field whose current attack is different from its original attack, and it gets turned back to its original attack. Basically, that's to use with one of your fusions, because he can destroy cards on the field by losing 2,600 attack. So the idea is if he goes down to 0, then you can use this to bring him back up to 2,600 for damage step shenanigans. It can also be used against your opponent's monsters, though, just to try to push for more damage. Next, going for 3 copies of Artillery Catapult Turtle. So you can tribute 1 monster as cost. I usually like to tribute the turtle itself to avoid things like Imperm or Valor as a chain link too. So tribute 1 monster to special summon a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster or a level 5 dragon monster from hand or deck. And that is why this first line of text of it being a Gaia the Fierce Knight card is so important, because that allows it to be special summoned by this effect. Alright, so that's actually it for the monsters. So now we're going to go to the spell cards. So we're going to go for the archetype-specific spells first. So we're first going to be talking about 3 copies of our field spell, Galloping Gaia. So basically, it makes it that while Gaia the Dragon Champion is in your monster zone, your opponent can't do anything during the battle phase. Then you can either reveal a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster to add a level 5 dragon, or you can reveal a level 5 dragon to add a Gaia the Fierce Knight monster. So basically, it allows you to search for whatever other fusion material you need. Next, 3 copies of Spiral Fusion. So this one, you get to fusion summon your dragon fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field. And then if you special summon Gaia the Dragon Champion, which the retrains are treated as Gaia the Dragon Champion while in the monster zone, it gains 2,600 attack and can make 2 attacks on monsters during the battle phase. So being able to have a Gaia the Dragon Champion retrain monster, so it's treated as Gaia the Dragon Champion, that's coming out at 5,200 and can attack twice. Yes, please. Next, I'm running 1 copy of Spiral Spear Strike. So basically, if your Gaia the Dragon Champion attacks a defense position monster, you get to inflict piercing. And then when it does get the piercing damage, you get to draw 2 and discard 1. So I am only running 1 because one of our retrains can actually search this from the deck. You can also use your Curse of Dragon retrain to search this from the deck if you need or if you want to. So that's why I only run 1, because it's very easily accessible in the deck. Next, moving on to more of the generic cards, I'm actually running 3 copies of Pot of Extravagance. And so the reason I'm running this is because there's typically only 1, maybe 2 fusion monsters you need to summon in order to try to finish the duel. Because if it takes longer than that, then you're gonna lose. Because this is an OTK style deck, so if it takes you too long, then you're basically just out of luck. But so most of the time, you're only gonna have to activate 1 of these most of the time. And so it's just additional draw powers. And when we get to the extra deck, I'll show you why it's able to fit into this deck. Next, I'm also running 2 copies of Dragon Shrine. This is a Foolish Burial for one of our dragons, so we can reborn it with Gaia the Magical Knight. Alright, then I'm running 1 Terraforming to search the field spell. 1 Reasoning, because they're all sorts of different levels. 1 Call by the Grave to combat hand traps. 1 Instant Fusion for our level 5 fusion Curse of Dragon guy that we'll get to later. 1 Monster Reborn for extra fusion material or to reborn a fusion. And then finally, rounding off the spells, running 2 copies of Twin Twisters, because the last thing you want is to get hit by a nasty floodgate or something like that. So double Twin Twisters helps to eliminate that. Then finally, moving on to the traps, just have 2 of them. We have Spiral Reborn and Spiral Discharge. This one is basically a Call of the Haunted, but if you summon Gaia the Dragon Champion, then it can't be targeted or destroyed by card effects. So our retrain fusions, since they become Gaia the Dragon Champion while they're on the field, this actually does count. So then they can't be targeted or destroyed by your opponent's card effects, which is really nice. And then finally, Spiral Discharge. So it's a continuous trap. While Gaia the Dragon Champion is in your monster zone, your opponent's monster can only target him for attacks. And then when an attack is declared involving Gaia the Dragon Champion, you can target a card on the field and destroy it. So it's just a way to kind of pick your opponent's board apart. So, yeah, that's it for the main deck. Now let's go to the extra deck. Alright, so we're actually going to be going to the relevant ones first, the ones that you can actually summon. And then we'll do the others. So first, I'm running 2 copies of Curse of Dragon, the Magical Night Dragon. So this is your instant fusion target. If it's fusion summoned, then you get to target a spell or trap in your grave that has Gaia the Dragon Champion as card text and add it back to your hand. And then while it's on the field, you can actually banish monsters to fusion summon. So there's just a way to get additional resources there. Next, 2 copies of Sky Galloping Gaia, the Dragon Champion. So, of course, this one, it becomes Gaia the Dragon Champion while it's on the field. And then if it's special summon, you get to search for Spiral Sphere Strike. So that's really nice. And it's deck or grave to hand. So that's really nice, just being able to have that added flexibility of deck or grave. And then when your opponent, or when this card attacks an opponent's monster, you can change that monster's battle position. So essentially the idea is with that effect is you attack an attack position monster, use this, change the defense, boom, you get the piercing off Spiral Spear Strike. Alright, next is Gaia the Magical Knight of Dragons. And I'm just going to go ahead and say, I absolutely hate the way they changed the name. The OCG name was Gaia the Magical Dragon Champion. That's what it should have stayed. But enough about that. So basically, just like the other one, it becomes Gaia the Dragon Champion while it's on the field. And then, as a quick effect during the main phase, you can target a card on the field. This card loses exactly 2,600 attack, and if it does, destroy that card. And then, when this card destroys an opponent's monster by battle, you can make it gain 2,600 attack. So, coming off of Spiral Fusion, this guy's going to be at 52. You swing, it destroys something by battle, goes up to 7,800. Then during your opponent's turn, you use this destruction effect, bringing it back down to 5,200, and you get to pop something. So yeah, that's basically all for the extra deck that you're going to actually be summoning. The rest is basically just fodder for Pot of Extravagance. They are related to Gaia the Fierce Knight, but you don't actually really summon them because, as I said, they're just fodder for Extravagance. But we will go over them. So we've got Dark Magician, the Knight of Dragon Magic, because it's Dark Magician riding Curse of Dragon. Dark Cavalry, because it's Dark Magician as Gaia the Fierce Knight, basically. Gaia Drake, the Universal Force. Gaia Prominence, the Fierce Flame. Gaia Knight, the Force of Earth. Gaia Blaze, the Force of the Sun. Gaia Dragon, the Thunder Charger. And Gaia Saber, the Lightning Shadow. Now this one you actually technically could summon. It's just that there's not really any need to, but technically you could. But yeah, these guys here, these are just fodder for Pot of Extravagance. Okay, this is the Extravagance fodder. But, yeah, that's pretty much it for the deck profile. I hope that you enjoyed. This is a fun deck for sure. I actually changed it quite a bit from what I used to play as far as the list goes. Like before, I didn't have Extravagance or anything like that. I was running a different draw card, but I decided to give this build a try. I actually really like it. So I think I'm going to keep it like this for now. But yeah, the deck performed well. Did what it was supposed to do, which is summon big fusion, attack for big damage, win. That's basically what it did. So yeah, like, subscribe, vote in the locals poll, all that good stuff. And I'll see you guys next time.